It all started with a 30-second video that shouldn't have existed. The clip hit the internet like wildfire, grainy, dimly lit, and filmed inside what looked like an Atlanta nightclub. But that wasn't what caught everyone's attention. It was the unmistakable sound of Kirk Frost's laugh, followed by a flash of a woman who looked far too familiar, Jasmine Washington. Within hours, social media went into meltdown. "Ain't no way, that's Kirk again," one fan wrote, while another commented, "Rasheeda's gonna lose it when she sees this." The clip was short, but the damage was instant. By morning, the Frost household was in chaos. Rasheeda, who had spent years rebuilding her family's image after Kirk's past scandals, was pacing through the living room, her phone buzzing nonstop. Messages poured in from friends, producers, and even strangers asking if the rumors were true. The kids could hear the tension from upstairs. The youngest started crying when Kirk raised his voice, something he hadn't done in months. The calm, business-savvy couple fans saw on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta had vanished overnight, replaced by the sound of slammed doors and trembling voices. What made things worse wasn't just the video itself, but where it came from. Sources claimed the footage was recorded just days ago, proof that Kirk and Jasmine might still be in contact. Others swore it was old, a setup meant to humiliate Rasheeda before her boutique's new relaunch. No one knew for sure, but in the world of Atlanta reality fame, timing was everything. And this clip had arrived right when Rasheeda was stepping back into the spotlight. The betrayal, real or not, cut deep. When Kirk finally came home after the video dropped, the energy in that house shifted. He tried to explain, to say it was a misunderstanding, but Rasheeda wasn't listening. "You said it was done. Kirk, you swore," she said quietly, tears collecting in her eyes. Kirk's jaw tightened, his voice shaking more from exhaustion than guilt. "I didn't do this, Sheeda. Somebody's trying to break us again." But Rasheeda didn't want excuses. To her, this wasn't just about a video, it was about years of trust rebuilt brick by brick, now crumbling again in front of their children, outside their home. Fans, gossip, blogs, and media outlets began circling like vultures. The Frost name was trending once more, and not for music, business, or family milestones, but for scandal. Kirk caught again. Jasmine back in the picture. Rasheeda breaks down. Headlines flooded every feed. Friends close to the couple said Rasheeda locked herself away for hours, refusing to answer calls, while Kirk tried desperately to control the narrative. But it was too late. The world had seen the clip, the whispers had begun, and what happened next would push the entire Frost family to their breaking point. The house was still dark when Kirk slipped out of bed that morning. His phone had been buzzing since dawn, each vibration pulling him deeper into the nightmare that refused to fade. Rasheeda hadn't said a word since last night. She had seen the video, watched it twice in silence, and then set the phone down like it was a weapon. The kids were upstairs pretending not to hear the tension, but everyone could feel it, the weight of another betrayal hanging in the air. Kirk stared at his reflection in the bathroom mirror, his eyes heavy, his voice low as he muttered, "How did this happen again?" By the time Rasheeda came downstairs, Atlanta had already decided what to believe. Every blog, every gossip page, every fan account was talking about the same thing: Kirk Frost, Jasmine Washington. And that club video. The clip was replayed, slowed down, zoomed in, every frame dissected by strangers searching for the truth. Some swore it was recent because of Kirk's new chain. Others pointed out the neon lights that matched a popular Midtown club. Whatever the case, it didn't look good. Rasheeda's phone kept lighting up with texts from people pretending to check on her. She didn't respond to any of them. Kirk finally gathered the courage to speak. "Sheeda, please just listen to me," he said, his voice trembling. "That video ain't new. It's old. Somebody's trying to stir things up again." But Rasheeda only looked at him with eyes that had already seen too much. "You said that the last time, Kirk, and the time before that. How many old videos are out there?" Her tone was soft, but each word landed like a blade. Kirk tried to defend himself, explaining how the internet twists everything, but Rasheeda wasn't buying it. She was tired of cleaning up his messes, tired of fighting the same battles, tired of being embarrassed in front of the world. Later that afternoon, Kirk got a call from his friend and business partner, who warned him that the story was spreading faster than he could imagine. "Bro, it's everywhere," the voice said through the phone. "You gotta get ahead of this before it ruins y'all again." Kirk rubbed his temples, pacing the living room. He knew how this worked. Once a rumor took hold in the reality TV world, it grew teeth. Producers would call, fans would pick sides, and soon enough, everyone would have an opinion about your marriage. He didn't want to go through that again. Rasheeda spent most of the day at her boutique, trying to focus on work, but her mind wouldn't stop spinning. Every time she looked at her reflection in the mirror, She saw a woman who had given everything, her youth, her loyalty, her forgiveness, and still ended up questioning her worth. She scrolled through her phone, reading fans' comments that ranged from sympathy to judgment. Rasheeda deserves better. One wrote, she knew what she signed up for. Another replied, it stung. No matter what she did, she was either too strong or too naive. There was no winning. That evening, as the sun dipped behind the skyline, Kirk decided to confront the situation. He drove to meet one of his old contacts who claimed to know something about the leaked clip. The man slid into the passenger seat with a nervous glance. Look, I don't know who filmed it, he began, but word is, someone close to Jasmine sold it. They said she was in town a few weeks ago. Kirk froze. Jasmine. Just hearing her name out loud made his stomach tighten. He hadn't seen her in years, or at least, that's what he'd told everyone. You sure about that? Kirk asked. The man nodded. That's what they're saying, bro. And people think she's got more. Meanwhile, back home, Rasheeda was sitting with her oldest son, Frost, who had seen the video himself. He was angry, not just at the rumors, but at the chaos it brought into their lives again. Mom, why does this keep happening? He asked, his voice breaking slightly. Rasheeda took a deep breath. Sometimes people don't change as fast as they should, she said quietly. And sometimes, the past don't stay buried. Kai looked down, shaking his head. It's embarrassing, Mom. People at school keep sending it to me. Her heart cracked at those words. It wasn't just her pain anymore, it was her children's too. When Kirk came home later that night, the air between them was cold. He sat across from her, his hands clasped tightly. Sheeda, I talked to someone. They said Jasmine might be behind this. Maybe for money, maybe revenge. Rasheeda raised an eyebrow. And why would she need revenge now? Kirk, you sure there's nothing you ain't telling me? He hesitated, and that hesitation said everything. Rasheeda stood up, tears streaming silently. You know what hurts the most? She said softly. It's not even the video. It's that I can't trust you to tell me the truth. Kirk didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. Hours passed before anyone spoke again. The kids had gone to bed, and the house was quiet except for the hum of the refrigerator. Kirk sat alone on the couch, scrolling through his phone, watching as his name trended online. Memes, screenshots, reactions. His mistakes were entertainment for the world again. He thought about deleting everything, walking away from social media entirely, but he knew it wouldn't stop the noise. Once the internet decided you were guilty, it didn't matter what you said. The next morning brought no relief. Producers from Love and Hip Hop started calling, asking if they could address the situation on camera. Kirk wanted to say no, but he also knew the power of controlling the narrative. If they stayed silent, the world would write their story for them. He looked at Rasheeda, who was sipping coffee in silence. They want us to film a sit-down, he said carefully. She didn't look up. Of course they do. Drama pays their bills. Kirk sighed. Maybe if we tell our side, it'll stop the lies. Rasheeda finally looked at him, her expression tired. Our side, Kirk. Or your side. Outside, neighbors whispered, and cameras started showing up near their driveway. Fans who once celebrated their family now stood divided. Half believed Kirk had slipped again. Half thought Jasmine had set them up. The kids couldn't go anywhere without someone asking questions. The Frost family, once known for resilience, was unraveling under the weight of another scandal. That evening, Rasheeda received a message from an unknown number. It was a short clip, a continuation of the leaked video. Her hands trembled as she pressed play. It showed Kirk, laughing with Jasmine, leaning close enough for the moment to look intimate. The sound was muffled, but Jasmine's voice was clear enough to make Rasheeda's blood run cold. You always find your way back, she teased. The clip ended abruptly, but it was enough. Rasheeda dropped the phone on the table, staring into space. Kirk was upstairs, unaware of the storm about to hit him again. She walked up slowly, each step heavier than the last. When she opened the door, Kirk was sitting on the edge of the bed, scrolling through his messages. You need to see this, Rasheeda said, her voice shaking. She handed him the phone. He watched the clip, his face draining of color. That's not what it looks like, he started, but Rasheeda cut him off. Don't you dare say that again. Her voice cracked this time, anger giving way to heartbreak. I can't keep explaining you to the world, Kirk. I can't keep defending someone who doesn't defend this family. For a moment, the room was silent. Then Kirk whispered, You think I'd do that to you again? Rasheeda didn't answer. She just walked out, closing the door behind her. Kirk stared at the empty space she left, the faint echo of her footsteps fading down the hall. Outside, another storm was brewing online, on television, in every corner of their lives. And this time, there might be no coming back. Rasheeda didn't sleep that night. She sat in her office downstairs, the faint glow of her laptop lighting her face while she scrolled through headlines she wished she could ignore. Every blog had picked up the story, now the video, the betrayal, the breakdown. She read her name twisted into gossip and pity, the same cycle she thought she had escaped years ago. On Instagram, hashtags like hashtag Team Rasheeda and hashtag Kirk Frost Exposed filled her feed. Even people she knew personally were reposting the clip, pretending they didn't know the pain it caused. She shut the laptop, pressing her palms to her face, whispering, "Why again?" Upstairs, Kirk sat in the dark, phone buzzing beside him. Jasmine's name flashed on the screen. He hesitated, then answered. Her voice came through low and hesitant. "Kirk, I didn't leak that video," she said quickly, before he could speak. "Somebody got hold of my phone last month. I swear I didn't mean for this to happen." Kirk's tone was tight. "You shouldn't have kept that video at all, Jasmine. What were you thinking?" She paused. "You think I wanted this? You think I wanted your wife coming after me again? I moved on, but people love dragging us back." Her voice cracked slightly, and Kirk felt a flicker of guilt, though he wouldn't admit it. "You need to fix this," he said. "Whatever it takes. Clear my name." Jasmine let out a bitter laugh. "Clear your name? Kirk, you and I both know that once the internet gets a story, it's never yours again." Then she hung up. The next morning, Rasheeda woke to the sound of her mother Shalene knocking on the door. "Baby, you need to eat something," her mother said softly, stepping inside with a tray. Rasheeda shook her head. "I'm fine, Mama." But Shalene wasn't fooled. "No, you're not. I told you that man was trouble, but you always said he changed. You always wanted to believe him." Rasheeda's lips trembled. "Mama, we've been through so much. I really thought we were past this." Shalene sighed. "Love don't erase history, baby. It just hides it for a while." Her mother's words sank deep, stirring something between anger and grief. Later that afternoon, Kirk decided to visit the production office of Love and Hip Hop. He wanted to control the story before someone else did. As he stepped inside, the producers looked up, some curious, some smirking. "So, Kirk, you know the streets are talking." One of them said. "You and Jasmine back in headlines again. This could be big for next season." Kirk's eyes narrowed. "This ain't entertainment. This is my family." The producer leaned back. "Your family is what sells, Kirk. People love y'all because you survived the mess. Give them something to root for again." Kirk clenched his fists but said nothing. He knew they didn't care about truth or pain, they cared about ratings. Meanwhile, Rasheeda was at home packing a small bag. She wasn't leaving permanently, just taking a break. The house felt heavy, like it couldn't breathe. When Kirk returned later that evening, he found her by the door. "Where are you going?" he asked quietly. "To clear my head," she said. "I need space, Kirk. And before you say anything, this isn't about the media. This is about me not recognizing the man I married." Kirk stepped closer. "Sheeda, please. You walk out now. They'll tear us apart." Rasheeda looked at him with tired eyes. "They already did." Then she picked up her bag and left. The silence that followed was deafening. Kirk sat on the stairs, staring at the closed door. He felt the same sinking feeling he had years ago when their marriage nearly ended. But this time was worse. This time, the kids were older, the fans louder, the lies more complicated. He tried calling Rasheeda, but she didn't answer. Instead, his phone buzzed again, a message from an unknown number. It was another video. He pressed play, heart pounding. It was Jasmine again. But this time, she wasn't alone. Someone behind the camera was laughing, saying, "He don't ever learn." The implication was clear. Someone was setting him up, and it was personal. The next day, blogs began posting screenshots of private messages allegedly between Kirk and Jasmine. Some of them were real, some clearly fake, but no one cared about authenticity anymore. One headline read, "Kirk Frost still messing with HISX. Rasheeda, done for good." Comments flooded and fans arguing, laughing, taking sides. Kirk's sister called him crying, saying their mother had seen the news on TV. "You gotta fix this," she said. Mom's heart can't take another scandal. Kirk promised he would, though he didn't know how. Rasheeda, meanwhile, checked into a quiet hotel outside Atlanta. She spent the evening scrolling through old photos, birthdays, family vacations, the years they rebuilt. "We really tried," she whispered to herself. Her phone lit up with messages from Mimi and Carly, both wanting the inside scoop. "Girl, what's really going on?" Carly wrote. Rasheeda didn't reply. She wasn't ready to turn her pain into not this time. But the world didn't wait for her permission. By the next morning, paparazzi had found her hotel. Flashing cameras greeted her as she stepped out for air. One reporter shouted, Rasheeda, is it true you're divorcing Kirk? She froze, then turned back inside without answering. She didn't owe anyone an explanation, yet. The rumors only grew stronger after that silence. Back at home, Kirk's son Kai confronted him directly. Dad, did you lie to us again? The question hit him harder than any headline. Kirk shook his head slowly. No, son, I didn't, but I made mistakes that let people think I did. Kai's eyes filled with frustration. You always say that, but it's us who pay for it. We get the jokes, the stares, the comments. Mom cries, and you act like sorry is enough. Kirk didn't respond. He couldn't. Later that night, Kirk received another message, this time from Jasmine again. Someone's blackmailing me, it read. They said if I don't pay, they'll leak more. Kirk called immediately, but she didn't answer. He realized then that this wasn't just about old mistakes. Someone was orchestrating it, using their history as ammunition. He didn't know who, but he was determined to find out. As the night deepened, Kirk sat alone in the living room, staring at family photos on the wall. He thought about how everything they built, businesses, brands, love could collapse overnight because of one person's revenge. He whispered to himself, I can't lose her again. But outside, Atlanta buzzed with fresh rumors. Another post had gone viral, claiming Jasmine was preparing to release proof of their recent contact. The comments were brutal, fans calling Kirk every name imaginable, others begging Rasheeda to finally leave for good. And just as Kirk was about to shut off his phone, a message popped up from Rasheeda. Only 3 words. We need to talk. He stared at the screen, unsure whether it meant hope or the end. Either way, he knew the next conversation would decide everything. When Kirk saw those words on his screen, his stomach turned. We need to talk. Simple.com. And final. No emojis, no question marks. Just a quiet warning before a storm. He spent the next few hours pacing the living room, replaying every memory that led them here, every promise, every apology, every moment he swore it would be different. By the time Rasheeda arrived, the air inside the house felt thick enough to choke on. She stood by the doorway for a moment before speaking. I didn't come to argue, she said. I came for answers. Kirk nodded slowly. You'll get 'em. She took a seat on the couch, crossing her arms tightly. Who recorded that video? Kirk. And why are there more clips popping up? He hesitated, then told her about Jasmine's call, about the blackmail message, about someone threatening to leak more. Rasheeda listened in silence, her expression unreadable. So now you're the victim, she asked finally. Kirk looked at her, defeated. No, I'm saying someone's trying to destroy us. You think I'd be dumb enough to do this again? She leaned forward. You've been dumb enough before. Her words were cold, but her voice shook at the edges. He reached for her hand, but she pulled away. At that moment, their youngest son came down the stairs, rubbing his eyes. Mom, you're home, he said softly. The tension in the room cracked for a moment as Rasheeda forced a smile. Yeah, baby mommy's home. Kirk turned away, ashamed. The boy hugged his mother, then glanced at his father. Dad, are you and Mom fighting again? Kirk swallowed hard. No, son, just talking. But even a child could sense the lie. When the boy went back upstairs, Rasheeda stood up. You see, that's what I mean. He shouldn't even have to ask that. Kirk nodded quietly. You right. I messed up everything again. The next day, Rasheeda met with Mimi at a cafe downtown. She needed to vent, to talk to someone who understood the chaos of being in the public eye. Mimi leaned forward, sipping her coffee. Girl, you know they'll twist this no matter what you say. They already got a storyline written for y'all. Rasheeda sighed. I'm tired of being a storyline. I just want peace. Mimi nodded slowly. Then take it. Step away for a while. Let him handle the mess he made. Rasheeda thought about that all afternoon. Maybe stepping back wasn't running it, was survival. While she was gone, Kirk finally decided to investigate who was behind the leaks. He met up with a tech friend who traced the origins of the video posts. Whoever's doing this, the guy said, scrolling through data on a laptop, they're good. They've been posting through fake accounts, rerouting through VPN servers. But I found something. One of the accounts connects back to an email registered under a fake name. Kirk leaned closer. Who's the guy? Hesitated. Someone calling themselves K. Frostier. Kirk froze. His blood ran cold. That's my son's handle. Kirk drove straight home, heart pounding. He found Kai sitting in his room, headphones on, scrolling through his phone. Kai, we need to talk. The boy looked up, wary. About what? Kirk took a deep breath. About the videos. Your name's showing up in the uploads. Kai's eyes widened. What? No, Dad, I didn't post that. Kirk stepped closer. Then explain why your handle's tied to one of the accounts. Kai stood up, shaking his head. I swear I didn't. But I did. Send the clip to a friend when it first dropped. Maybe they Kirk cut him off. You what? Kai's voice broke. I didn't think it was real. I was just trying to see if anyone could tell where it came from. Kirk turned away, his voice cracking with frustration. Do you realize what you did? You gave the internet more fuel. Kai's eyes filled with tears. I just wanted to help Mom. I didn't mean to make it worse. That night, Rasheeda came home to find Kirk sitting at the table, head in his hands. What now? She asked wearily. He told her about Kai's involvement. She went quiet, then whispered, so even our kids are getting dragged into this. Kirk nodded. He didn't mean to. He was trying to help. She rubbed her temples, her voice trembling. This is what happens when the whole world treats your family like a TV show. Nobody gets to just live anymore. She looked at him for a long time before saying, we have to protect them, Kirk. Even if it means protecting them from you. The following week, a new twist hit the blogs. An anonymous source claimed to have more footage, this time showing Jasmine arguing with someone off camera. The voice, muffled but deep, sounded eerily like Kirk's. Fans went wild. It's him again. One tweet read, he never learns. Kirk tried to ignore it, but Rasheeda's silence spoke louder than the noise online. They barely spoke for days, only communicating about the kids. Yet, behind her guarded expression, Rasheeda still felt a small ache of hope that somehow, there was a truth she hadn't seen yet. Then one night, she received an email. No subject line, just a video attachment and a message. Watch this before you decide. She hesitated, then pressed play. The footage showed Jasmine sitting in a studio, speaking to someone hidden off camera. They think I leaked it, she said. But I didn't. I was paid to show up that night. They told me Kirk would be there, that it'd make good TV. I didn't even know he was being recorded. Rasheeda froze, her pulse quickening. They, she whispered. Who was they? The clip cut off there, but it was enough to shake her. The next morning, she drove straight to the production office, without telling Kirk. When she arrived, she asked for one of the senior producers. We need to talk about the video, she said firmly. The producer hesitated, then gestured her into a private room. Rasheeda, you know how this works. We can't control what people post. She stared him down. Don't play dumb. I saw the clip. Someone set that up. You had cameras in that club. The man exhaled. Look, these things happen sometimes. Reality TV needs reality moments. Her voice rose. You destroyed my family for ratings. He didn't answer. She grabbed her bag and walked out, tears streaming down her face. When she got home, Kirk was waiting. Where you been? He asked softly. She looked at him, eyes burning. Finding out the truth. They used us. Kirk. They set you up. Jasmine didn't leak it, production did. Kirk's jaw dropped. What? Rasheeda nodded. They planned that night. They wanted a reaction. They wanted me humiliated. He sat down slowly, the weight of it settling in. So this whole time, we've been fighting ghosts. She nodded again, voice trembling. And we let them win. For the first time in days, they sat together in silence, not as enemies, but as two people finally realizing they were victims of the same machine. Outside, the world still believed the scandal, the blogs still buzzed. But inside that house, something shifted. Rasheeda whispered, I don't know if we can fix us, Kirk, but I know who the real enemy is now. And Kirk, staring at the window where flashing lights from cameras glowed faintly, said quietly, then maybe it's time we fight back. Rasheeda stood still, phone trembling in her hand. The words on the screen burning through her chest like fire she couldn't put out. Kirk's voice echoed behind her, calm yet heavy. I told you, I wasn't the only one with secrets. She didn't answer. She couldn't. Her mind was spinning through every memory she had of Kay. Michelle laughing with her. Sitting on the couch after shoots, whispering stories about heartbreak and loyalty. All that time, she had no idea those late-night studio check-ins might have been something more. Kirk took a slow step closer, watching her face twist between disbelief and anger. You see it now, right? He said quietly. She wasn't innocent, and she wasn't your friend. Rasheeda turned around, eyes filled with tears but her voice steady. Don't act like you care about my friends, Kirk. This isn't about her, it's about you trying to clean your own mess. Kirk exhaled, shaking his head. I'm showing you the truth. That's all. He dropped his phone on the table, screen still glowing with the message thread, and walked out of the room. Rasheeda looked down again. The messages were unmistakable. Short, coded, intimate. Miss your voice tonight. You make me feel safe. Don't tell her we talked. She swallowed hard, reading them over and over until the words blurred. The house was silent, but her heartbeat was so loud she could hear it in her ears. Outside, the night air was thick. K. Michelle was somewhere downtown doing a live session, oblivious to the storm about to break. Fans were flooding her comments, asking about her new single, cheering for her comeback. She smiled into the camera, sipping wine, her voice smooth and confident. I told y'all, when the truth comes out, some people gonna look real different, she said with a small laugh. Nobody knew yet that Kirk had just dropped screenshots that could end her peace for good. Back at the house, Rasheeda sat on the edge of the bed, staring into space. Her assistant knocked softly. You okay? She asked. Rasheeda didn't move. Yeah, she whispered, though she wasn't sure if it was true. A few minutes later, she picked up her phone again and typed a message, then deleted it. Then typed it again. K, we need to talk. Now. When K. Michelle saw the message pop up mid-live, her hand froze on the glass. She blinked, smiled quickly at the camera, and ended the session with a forced laugh. Love y'all, but I gotta handle something real quick. As soon as the screen went black, she exhaled sharply. Damn, she muttered, grabbing her purse. Within an hour, they were face to face in the parking lot behind a closed studio. No cameras, no makeup, no entourage, just two women whose history had suddenly turned into something raw and unpredictable. Rasheeda didn't waste a second. You were texting my husband, she said flatly. K. Michelle's lips parted, but no sound came out. You were telling him you missed his voice. You were telling him not to tell me. Kay shook her head quickly. Rasheeda, it's not what it looks like. Then tell me what it is. It was business. He told me he was trying to set up something for a project. I didn't. Rasheeda cut her off, voice rising. Stop lying to me. You think I don't know the difference between business and something else. You think I'm stupid. For a long moment, neither spoke. Cars hummed in the distance. The city was quiet in that strange way it gets right before sunrise. Finally, Kay said softly, you know he's been trying to mess with me for years. He plays both sides, Rasheeda. I told you that before. And yet you still answered him, Rasheeda snapped. You still told him things you shouldn't have. Kay looked down, shaking her head. I didn't want it to go that way. I just didn't know how to shut it down without starting drama. Rasheeda stepped closer, her voice lower now. Well, congratulations. You got drama anyway. The tension was unbearable. Kay reached into her bag, pulled out her own phone, and opened the chat. Look, she said, showing her screen. This is all we talked about. He was the one pushing it. But Rasheeda didn't even glance at it. Doesn't matter who started it. You knew what you were doing when you replied. Kirk watched the scene from a distance, sitting in his car, the reflection of the two women visible in his rearview mirror. He didn't plan for it to go this far. But something in him wanted her to see it, wanted the truth to finally tear down what had been rotting for years. He muttered to himself, now maybe she'll understand. Back in the parking lot, Kay finally broke. You think I wanted this? You think I wanted to be dragged into y'all mess again? She said, her voice shaking. He came to me, said he needed someone to talk to, said he was drowning. I felt sorry for him, Rasheeda. I didn't cross no line. Rasheeda laughed bitterly. You don't cross a line by pretending sympathy when it's my husband. That's the line right there. The argument lasted for almost 20 minutes before Kay walked away, her heels clacking against the pavement, tears streaking her face. Rasheeda stood there, breathing hard, her anger giving way to exhaustion. When she finally went home, Kirk was waiting on the couch, staring at the TV that wasn't even on. She walked past him without a word, went upstairs, and slammed the bedroom door. The next morning, gossip pages were already buzzing. A clip from K. Michelle's Live the night before was being dissected frame by frame. Something off about her face at the end. One blogger said, she looked like she just got bad news. Another fan posted screenshots of Kirk's cryptic story post, black background, white text that read, truth always wins. By noon, everyone was talking. Mimi called Stevie in disbelief. You seen what Kirk did? She asked. He wild for that. That's what he does. Stevie replied, laughing. Man loves chaos. By evening, Rasheeda decided to film a response. She didn't want to, but silence was already being read as guilt. She sat in front of the camera, makeup soft, eyes tired. People been talking, she began. And I just want to say some things that come out ain't the whole story. People twist stuff. People hurt people. But I'm not here to play victim. She paused, swallowing hard. I'm here to heal. Whatever's been said, I'll handle it privately. But Kirk wasn't done. Later that night, he uploaded a short clip of a voice note K. Michelle's voice, laughing softly, saying, "Don't let her find out." The internet exploded. Fans divided instantly. Some defended K, saying Kirk was manipulating old recordings. Others claimed it proved everything he'd said. Rasheeda threw her phone on the couch, shouting, "Why can't he stop?" Her publicist called within minutes. "We need a plan," she said urgently. "This is spiraling." Rasheeda rubbed her temples, whispering, "He wants me broken. That's what this is about." Meanwhile, K. Michelle was pacing her living room, furious. "He edited that clip," she told her team. "That was from years ago, not even about him." She opened Instagram Live again, hands shaking slightly. "Let's clear the air," she said to her followers. "That audio y'all hearing, fake. Manipulated. Kirk been trying to play this game because he mad he lost control. And Rasheeda girl, you know better." But instead of calming things down, the live made it worse. Within hours, Kirk posted the full voice note. Her laughter turned into words that sounded undeniably intimate. The comment sections went wild. She lying. She caught Kirk messy, but he got receipts. By midnight, Love and Hip Hop producers were already calling, whispering about whether this could become part of the next season's storyline. Kirk answered with a smirk. "Oh, it's definitely a story now." Rasheeda, though, had reached her limit. She sat in the dark, replaying the voice note again and again. Not sure what hurt more, the betrayal, or the fact that millions of strangers were now dissecting her pain like entertainment. When Kirk finally came upstairs, she looked up at him and said quietly, "You got what you wanted. Now leave me alone." He didn't answer, just stood there for a moment before walking away. Outside, the city lights glowed cold and distant. The night heavy with everything that had been said and everything that still hadn't. And somewhere in the quiet, a new tension began to rise, because the truth Kirk thought he exposed was only half of what was really hiding underneath. Rasheeda barely slept that night. Her mind kept circling back to the same thought: if Kirk had all these messages, if he was so quick to expose them, then what was he hiding behind it? By morning, she sat at the kitchen counter, staring at her coffee until it went cold. Kirk came down like nothing happened, humming to himself, scrolling through his phone. She looked up slowly. "You proud of yourself?" she asked quietly. He didn't respond. "You went online, humiliated me, dragged K. Michelle into it, and for what?" Kirk sipped his coffee and shrugged. "For the truth," he said, eyes still on his phone. She laughed bitterly. "The truth? You don't even know what that word means anymore." He looked up then, defensive. "You think I'm lying?" "I think you're deflecting," she said sharply. "You always do this. Every time you mess up, you find a new way to make it about somebody else." Kirk pushed his chair back. "You done blaming me for everything? Maybe look at who you keep around." She leaned forward, voice low and tight. "You're talking like you ain't been lying for years. You're talking like I don't have receipts to." That made him pause. His expression shifted, caught off guard for the first time in hours. She stood, walked to the drawer, and pulled out a folder thin but heavy with meaning. "You think I don't check what's happening behind the scenes? You think your little side deals and studio transfers go unnoticed?" She threw the folder onto the counter. Kirk opened it, and the color drained from his face. Inside were printed emails and transaction screenshots. Money moved quietly between his accounts and a mysterious production label that had ties back to one of his old flings. "Where you get this?" he asked. "You're not the only one who keeps tabs," she replied coldly. He clenched his jaw. "This ain't what you think." "It's exactly what I think," she snapped. "You were funding that girl's studio time, weren't you? Same girl you swore you cut off." Kirk started to speak, but she cut him off again. "You want to talk about secrets? Let's talk about yours. You running around pretending to expose everybody else when you still playing the same game?" He took a step closer, trying to steady his voice. "Rasheeda, you don't know everything." "Then tell me," she said. "Go ahead. Tell me what I don't know." He hesitated, eyes flickering. It wasn't about her. It was about something bigger. "Like what?" she pressed. Kirk sighed, running a hand over his head. "You wouldn't understand." She folded her arms. "Try me." He finally spoke, voice low. "That label, yeah. I helped set it up, but not for her. It was supposed to be my out. My way to start clean. I was gonna pull us both out the show. Start over. But when I went to sign the deal, she tried to use it against me. Said she'd tell you everything unless I kept funding her sessions. I didn't want more drama, so I just paid and stayed quiet. Rasheeda stared at him, disbelief plain on her face. You expect me to believe you were trying to start over while sneaking behind my back? He looked down, silent. You can twist it however you want, he said finally, but I was doing what I had to do. She shook her head slowly. No, you were doing what you always do, lying to cover a lie. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. The house was quiet, except for the hum of the refrigerator and the faint sound of rain starting outside. Then Rasheeda said softly, "You know what the saddest part is? I kept defending you. I told everybody you'd changed. I made excuses for you every single time. And now here we are again. Same story. Same pain." Kirk didn't reply. He just stared at the folder, lost in thought. Later that day, word got out that Rasheeda had unfollowed both Kirk and K. Michelle on Instagram. Fans noticed within minutes. Uh-oh, one blogger posted. When the unfollow happens, it's real. Gossip sites ran headlines within the hour. Rasheeda finally done with Kirk. Screenshots of the missing follows went viral. Memes, reactions, edits everywhere. Meanwhile, K. Michelle was still trying to defend herself. She posted a long note, white text on a black background. I don't owe explanations to people twisting my name for clicks. I know my truth. But within minutes, Kirk posted again, this time with a blurred photo and the caption, "Truth got layers." Fans speculated wildly. He got more receipts. Is he talking about K? Or Rasheeda? The entire situation spiraled out of control. That night, Rasheeda got a call from her producer. "We need to talk about what's happening," he said. "The network wants to film a sit-down." Ratings through the roof. Rasheeda closed her eyes, exhausted. "You mean you want to film my breakdown? Come on. It's part of the show. People are invested." She hung up without answering. A few minutes later, Kirk knocked softly on the bedroom door. "We gotta talk." "There's nothing left to say," she said from the other side. "There's everything left to say," he insisted. "You think this over? You think walking away gonna fix anything?" She opened the door halfway, staring at him. "You already broke it. Stop pretending like you're the victim." He exhaled, leaning against the frame. "You know I never meant for it to blow up like this." "Then why did you post it?" she asked. "Why did you have to humiliate both of us in front of millions?" He looked down. "Because I was tired of being the bad guy. Tired of people thinking I'm the only one who does wrong. So you decided to drag me down with you," she said bitterly. "Smart plan." He didn't answer. Instead, he pulled something from his Pokita, small USB drive. "What's that?" she asked. "Something you should see," he said, placing it on the table. "Play it." Then he walked out. When she plugged it in, a folder popped up labeled Truth. Inside was a video file. It opened to a dimly lit studio where K. Michelle and Kirk sat close, talking. At first, it looked innocent, but then K. reached over, touching his hand, saying softly, "You know I care about you, right?" Kirk looked uncomfortable. "You shouldn't say that." "Why not?" she teased. "It's not like she gotta know." Rasheeda's chest tightened. It wasn't just messages. It wasn't just voice notes. There was real chemistry, there real emotion. Her breathing quickened as she watched the rest. Kirk looked away in the clip, clearly uneasy, saying, "This is gonna blow up one day. Only if you tell her," Kay said with a laugh. Rasheeda stopped the video, trembling. She sat back, tears filling her eyes. After a long silence, she whispered, "You both lied to me." She pressed her palms against her face, her whole body shaking. Downstairs, Kirk sat on the couch, staring into nothing, listening to the faint sound of her crying above him. The next morning, social media had already caught wind of something new. A mysterious clip was circulating online, blurry, low quality, but unmistakably showing K. Michelle and Kirk in the studio. Someone had leaked it. Fans went crazy. Who leaked this? Is this real? Oh, they done messed up now. Rasheeda's phone blew up with calls. Producers, bloggers, even friends she hadn't spoken to in months. She ignored them all. She only texted one person, her stylist. "No appearances this week. No filming. I'm done." That afternoon, Kirk tried again. "I didn't leak it," he said. "I swear." Rasheeda didn't look at him. "It doesn't matter anymore." "It does to me." "Well, it's too late." She stood, grabbing her jacket. "You can keep your explanations, Kirk. I'm done cleaning up your chaos." He followed her to the door. "Where are you going?" "Anywhere but here." As she walked out into the rain, flashes from nearby cameras caught her. Paparazzi already waiting. "Rasheeda, any comment on the leaked video? Is it true Kirk cheated again?" She said nothing, just kept walking. Hood up, face calm but eyes red. Later, That picture of her walking alone, under the rain, hit every blog within minutes, captioned, "The final straw." That night, K. Michelle went live again, furious. "I'm done being the villain in somebody else's marriage," she said. "I didn't leak no video, and I'm not about to sit quiet while people drag me." But in the comments, fans weren't buying it. "Girl, the proof right there. You got caught." Meanwhile, Kirk sat alone in the dark, scrolling through the mess he created. For the first time, he looked like he actually regretted it. The messages, the clips, the exposure, it had all come back to destroy him too. And upstairs, in a quiet hotel room miles away, Rasheeda finally exhaled, whispering to herself, "This time, I'm not going back." But deep down, she knew it wasn't over. Not yet, because the story was no longer just about her and Kirk. Someone else had stepped in, watching from the sidelines, ready to use their chaos for their own game. And the next move was already in motion. The next day came like a storm. Phones wouldn't stop buzzing, producers wouldn't stop calling, and by noon, Kirk and Rasheeda's names were trending again, this time tagged with Jasmine's. A new leak had surfaced, one showing Jasmine inside the same club where Kirk was filmed weeks earlier, only now there was audio attached. She was heard saying, "Kirk always come back, no matter what she say." The internet exploded. Within minutes, fans were dissecting every word, matching timestamps, accusing Kirk of lying yet again. Rasheeda woke to chaos. Her manager was on the phone, panicked. "Girl, this is everywhere. TMZ, Shade Room, Baller Alert, they all got the audio." Rasheeda groaned, pressing her temples. "Of course they do. They always do." The manager hesitated. "You want me to put out a statement?" Rasheeda's voice came out steady but cold. "No, let them talk. I'm done explaining what I didn't do." She hung up and sat still for a long moment, listening to the silence between phone vibrations. It was the sound of her life unraveling one headline at a time. Kirk, meanwhile, was meeting his longtime friend and fellow castmate, Scrappy, at a small diner outside Atlanta. Scrappy shook his head as Kirk slid into the booth. "Bro, you really messed up this time," he said. "That clip got everybody talking." Kirk sighed. "I didn't leak it. I don't even know who's behind this." Scrappy leaned back. "Then why it always come back to you? Maybe you need to figure out who around you still got access to your dirt." Kirk nodded slowly. "I think I already know." Back at home, Rasheeda was scrolling through old texts on her phone, trying to piece together the timeline. Something didn't sit right. She realized Jasmine's club video had the same background music as one of Kirk's old Instagram stories, same night, same place, which meant whoever leaked this had access to both their content. Her stomach dropped. It had to be someone close, someone who wanted both of them destroyed. Just then, her son Kai came downstairs holding his phone. "Mom," he said quietly, "somebody posted our house address online." Rasheeda's heart stopped. "What?" "Look." He showed her a post with blurred out photos of their home and a caption, "Exclusive where the Frost drama unfolds." She snatched the phone from his hand. "Turn off your socials. Now." She called Kirk immediately. "They're posting our address. Our kids are in this now. Are you happy?" Kirk's voice came through, shaky. "What? Who would do that? You tell me," she said before hanging up. Panic turned into anger. She called the network directly. "You promised our privacy," she said through clenched teeth. "You promised boundaries." The producer on the other end tried to calm her down. "Rasheeda, this didn't come from us. I swear. But if we film a response, we can shift the narrative." "Shift the narrative," she repeated. "You mean milk it?" She hung up. Meanwhile, Jasmine was at her apartment, pacing, phone in hand. She had been bombarded with hate messages all morning. Homewrecker, trash, karma. She called her friend Tiara, crying. "They're saying I leaked the address. I didn't even know where they live." Tiara sighed. "Girl, once you step in that mess, you part of it forever. You knew what you were doing when you kept those videos." Jasmine's voice cracked. "I didn't keep them for this. I thought maybe one day he'd tell her the truth." "Well, now everybody knows the truth," Tiara said. By evening, Kirk had put together what he thought was the missing piece. He remembered a night a few weeks earlier when one of his old employees, a studio assistant named Jared, had gotten drunk at a party and bragged about having footage that could make people famous. Kirk brushed it off then. But now it clicked. He called the number He drove straight to the studio, found Jared's locker empty, computer gone. Whoever was behind this had been planning for weeks. Rasheeda was still at home when Kirk showed up unannounced. "Don't," she said the moment she saw him. "You shouldn't be here." "Listen to me," he said. "I think I know who leaked it." She crossed her arms. And I'm supposed to care why? Because this ain't just about us anymore, he said, voice rising. Whoever's doing this is playing both sides. They want us to destroy each other. She stared at him, unsure whether to believe him. You really expect me to trust you after all this? No, he said quietly. But I'm asking you to listen. He laid out everything. Jared, the missing files, the timing of the leaks. It all fit, but Rasheeda was still hesitant. Even if you're right, why would he do that? Kirk exhaled. Money. Attention. Maybe someone paid him. Someone like Jasmine, she asked. He shook his head. No. Jasmine scared. I talked to her earlier. She getting threats now too. The room fell silent. For the first time in days, there was no shouting, no blame, just exhaustion. So what now? She asked. Kirk sat down, rubbing his eyes. We find proof. We end this before it ruins everything. The next day, Kirk met with a tech guy he trusted, a quiet, no-nonsense fixer named Marlon, who had cleaned up plenty of scandals before. Marlon plugged Kirk's phone into his laptop and started scanning. Whoever leaked this was smart, Marlon said. They masked their IP behind multiple proxies. But, he leaned forward. There's a trail. Kirk's heart jumped. Can you trace it? Marlon nodded. Already did. He turned the screen toward Kirk. And Kirk froze when he saw the name. The leaker wasn't Jasmine. It wasn't the assistant. It was someone even closer, someone from inside the show's production team. Marlon looked at him carefully. You realize if you expose this, it's gonna burn bridges you can't rebuild. Kirk nodded slowly. Let it burn. Meanwhile, Rasheeda received a text from an unknown number. Be careful who you trust. The leak came from your circle too. Attached was a blurry photo of her, at a lunch table, talking to her best friend Kendra. The timestamp was from the day before the first video leaked. Rasheeda stared at the screen, confused. Her hands trembled. That evening, Kirk returned home to tell her everything, only to find her sitting on the couch with the same pale expression. What's wrong? He asked. She turned the phone toward him. He stared at the image, then frowned. That's Kendra, right? Yeah. And someone thinks she's involved. Kirk shook his head. Nah, Kendra wouldn't do that. Rasheeda looked down. She'd been acting strange lately, asking questions about the show, about Jasmine, about our marriage. I thought she was just being nosy. For the first time, both of them were on the same side, united, not by love, but by a common enemy. We find out who did this, Kirk said. Together. Rasheeda nodded once, tired but resolute. For the kids, she said quietly. Not for us. As the night deepened, the city outside buzzed with fresh gossip. New blogs claimed Jasmine had gone into hiding. Others said Rasheeda was secretly meeting lawyers. But behind closed doors, the real storm was only beginning, because somewhere in Atlanta, someone was preparing one last liquan that would make the rest look like child's play. Rasheeda stood in the middle of her living room, still in the same outfit from last night. Her phone was lighting up non-stop texts from Carly, Sierra, and even producers from Love and Hip Hop. Word had spread that Kirk exposed K. Michelle's secret messages. And now everyone wanted a comment. But Rasheeda didn't answer anyone. She sat quietly, her hand resting on the armrest. Eyes fixed on the blank TV screen, as if replaying everything over and over in her mind. The sound of the front door opening broke her trance. Kirk walked in slowly, not sure what kind of mood he'd find her in. You didn't sleep? He asked gently. She didn't look up. How could I? Her voice was low, calm in a way that made him more nervous than yelling would have. I'm still trying to figure out if you embarrassed me on purpose or if this whole thing just got out of control. Kirk dropped his keys on the counter. I didn't mean for it to blow up like that, but you needed to see who she really is. Rasheeda turned her head sharply. And you think humiliating me on camera was the way to do that? He sighed. You were defending her, Ray. Everyone saw it. You were making me look like the bad guy, when the truth is, she's been playing games with all of us. Rasheeda stood up, walked over to him, and pointed a finger toward his chest. Don't twist this. You didn't do it for me, you did it for you. You wanted to prove a point, to win some kind of argument. But all you did was show everyone that we can't even trust each other in private anymore. Kirk stepped closer, his tones softening. I was trying to protect us. She let out a short laugh. Protect us? From what? From gossip. From a woman you used to flirt with years ago. You gave her more power by reacting. She walked away before he could answer, heading toward the kitchen, muttering. You think every fight needs to be broadcast like it's another storyline. He followed her, frustrated now. It's not about TV, Ray. It's about truth. She slammed a glass on the counter. No, it's about pride. Your pride. The silence that followed was heavy. Meanwhile, outside their home, a black SUV was parked down the street. Inside, a camera crew sat quietly with production notes spread across the dashboard. They had received a text from Mona Scott's assistant. Get footage if possible, confession scenes might be needed. As they waited, a woman's car pulled up behind them. K. Michelle stepped out, wearing sunglasses and a tight leather jacket, looking furious. She didn't even hesitate. She walked straight toward Rasheeda's porch. One of the crew members whispered, "Oh, it's about to go down." Kirk noticed movement through the window. "Don't tell me she's here," he muttered. Rasheeda turned, confused. When she saw K. Michelle walking up the steps, her jaw tightened. K. Michelle didn't knock, she pushed the door open and shouted, "You got something to say to me? Say it to my face." The energy in the room changed instantly. Rasheeda froze, the glass still in her hand. Kirk's eyes widened. "You shouldn't be here," he said firmly, but K. Michelle ignored him. "You think I'm gonna sit back while you drag my name like that? You think I'm scared?" She took off her sunglasses and threw them onto the couch. "You better tell the truth about what you showed, because those messages don't tell the whole story." Rasheeda's voice was calm but icy. "Then go ahead. Tell your version." K. Michelle laughed, a sharp, bitter sound. "Oh, I will. But first, let's clear one thing up. You weren't supposed to see those texts. They weren't for you. They were for him." She pointed straight at Kirk. Rasheeda felt her chest tighten. "So it's true," she whispered. K. Michelle crossed her arms. "Depends what you mean by true. Those messages were from years ago. He knows that." Kirk ran his hand over his face, realizing there was no way out of this without everything exploding again. The cameras outside started rolling. The storm had found its way back inside their house. The tension in the room was unbearable. Rasheeda's hands were clenched into fists, her knuckles white, but her voice remained steady. "Years ago doesn't excuse lying to me now. Doesn't excuse dragging this into my house." Kirk stepped forward, trying to interject, but K. Michelle waved him off. "Let me finish," she said, eyes flashing. "You want the truth. You got it. Yes, we talked. Yes, we had moments. But nothing ever happened that crossed the line. The line you think exists is just your jealousy." Rasheeda's lips pressed together. Her heart was pounding, but she forced herself to remain calm. "You think that makes it better?" she asked. "Telling me he didn't cheat? That it's just words." Kay shook her head sharply. "I'm telling you the truth because you deserve to hear it from me, not from screenshots and gossip." Kirk ran a hand through his hair, exhaling sharply. "See, she's telling you. Nothing physical, nothing serious. It's over." Rasheeda turned to him, her voice breaking slightly. "Over? Do you hear yourself? It's never just over when there's lies, Kirk. It's never over when you let people think I'm the bad guy." Kirk opened his mouth, but no words came. K. Michelle leaned forward, voice low and firm. "Rasheeda, I swear, this stops now. Stop blaming him. Stop blaming me. Decide what matters: your family, your kids, your sanity, or this internet circus." The sound of the rain hitting the windows grew louder, the night outside mirroring the chaos inside. Rasheeda closed her eyes, taking a deep breath. "My kids," she whispered. "They're the ones who suffer while we fight like this." Kirk and K. Michelle looked at her, the room silent except for the storm outside. Finally, Rasheeda turned back toward Kirk. "We fix this. For them. Nothing else matters." Kirk nodded slowly, guilt and relief washing over him simultaneously. "You're right. We fix this. I'll do whatever it takes." K. Michelle gave a small nod. "I'll stay out of it," she said. "No more leaks. No more drama. You handle your family." Rasheeda's eyes softened slightly. "Thank you." The tension didn't disappear, but a fragile truce had been formed. Hours later, the internet was still ablaze. Snippets of the confrontation leaked blurred images of the three of them in the living room. Hands raised, voices raised, emotions raw. Fans were divided, theories running wild. Rasheeda handled it like a queen. Some said, K. Michelle shady AF. Others argued. Memes and GIFs flooded social media, some depicting exaggerated versions of the night. Others praising Rasheeda's restraint. Kai Frost and the other kids were in bed, asleep, oblivious to the chaos unfolding just a few floors above. Rasheeda checked on them quietly, brushing their hair back, whispering, "Mommy's handling it. Don't worry." She left the room, leaning against the hallway wall, her mind racing. Kirk appeared beside her, hand resting lightly on her shoulder. "We can get through this," he said quietly. Rasheeda nodded, swallowing the lump in her throat. "We have to, for them." By the next morning, the family had emerged from the house for a brief public appearance. No interviews, just a short walk past photographers. Flashes went off, questions shouted, but Rasheeda kept her head high, Kirk close, kids in tow. For a moment, it seemed as though the storm outside had no power over them. Yet deep down, Rasheeda knew this was only the beginning. The leaks, the gossip, the questions, they would keep coming. And only by staying united, vigilant, and strategic could they hope to survive the next wave of chaos coming their way. As they disappeared into their car, Kirk glanced at Rasheeda. "You okay?" he asked. She gave a small, determined nod. "I'm done being a victim. But I'm not done fighting for us. For our kids." Kirk exhaled, tension easing just slightly. "Then we fight together." And with that, the family drove into the city. Headlights cutting through the morning fog, ready to face whatever the internet or the next leak would throw at them next. That evening, the house was eerily quiet. The kids were asleep, the storm outside finally subsiding, leaving a soft drizzle against the windows. Rasheeda sat at the kitchen table, scrolling through the countless notifications and social media mentions. Every post, every comment, every leaked clip had one common theme: chaos. She felt the weight of it pressing down on her chest. Kirk entered silently, carrying 2 mugs of coffee. He set one down in front of her. "Can't sleep?" he asked softly. She shook her head. "Too much noise," she replied, voice barely above a whisper. Kirk sat across from her, rubbing his face. "I never meant for any of this to happen," he admitted. "It started as a mess between me and her," he gestured vaguely toward Michelle, "and now it's turned into something much bigger. I didn't think it would touch the kids, Rasheeda. I didn't think it would hurt you like this." Rasheeda stared at him for a moment, the hurt still raw, but also a flicker of understanding. "You know it's not just about intentions," she said slowly. "It's about consequences. You need to think before acting. Kirk, for once, think about us, not just what you can prove." He nodded, swallowing hard. "I will, I promise." The two sat in silence for a few minutes, the rain tapping a rhythm against the windows, a quiet soundtrack to the tension that still lingered. Then Kirk spoke again, voice tentative. "Rasheeda, maybe it's time we take control back. Show people we're united, that we can handle this together. No more leaks, no more games." She looked up at him, her eyes narrowing thoughtfully. "You mean, really united, not just pretending for the cameras?" He met her gaze, sincerity evident. "Really, we protect our family first, everyone else second." She exhaled, a mix of relief and lingering doubt. "Okay," she said quietly, "but if we do this, we do it smart. No more surprises, no more chaos." The next morning, Kirk arranged a family breakfast, hoping to reclaim some normalcy. Frost and the other kids came down, sleepy but curious, their little faces brightening when they saw pancakes on the table. Rasheeda smiled, a genuine one this time, tucking a stray strand of hair behind her ear. Kirk poured syrup over the pancakes, joking with trying to lighten the mood. For a moment, everything seemed normal, but both parents knew better. The internet would not rest, and the leaks would not stop. Midday brought another wave. Paparazzi spotted Kirk leaving a studio meeting and immediately swarmed him. Questions shouted from all directions. "Kirk, are you still involved with Michelle, Rasheeda? Comment on the leaked videos. Are the kids safe?" Kirk held his hand up, trying to shield the family from the chaos. Inside, he was frantic. Rasheeda watched from the car, holding Kai's hand tightly. "We can't let them control us," she muttered. Kirk nodded, swallowing his pride. "We tell them what they need to know, nothing more." By evening, Rasheeda had called in her team, a small group of trusted friends and advisors. They gathered in the living room, the air thick with tension. Charts, screenshots, timelines, and social media threads were spread across the coffee table. "We can't stop them from talking," one advisor said, "but we can control how they see it. Narrative is everything." Rasheeda nodded, eyes hard. "Exactly. We take back control. Kirk, no more surprises. Everyone, stay coordinated. We protect our family first." Kirk met her gaze, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. "Understood." Later that night, while the kids slept, Rasheeda and Kirk reviewed the leaks once more. Every video, every screenshot, every voice note, it was a jigsaw puzzle of chaos. "Look here." Rasheeda pointed to a clip. "This one's been edited. They're trying to make it look worse than it is." Kirk frowned. "We expose the edits. We show the truth." She nodded. "And we make sure the audience sees us standing together. No more room for manipulation." The next week became a calculated battle. Every move, every post, every public appearance was meticulously planned. They posted a joint statement on social media. "Our family comes first. Rumors, leaks, and false narratives will not dictate our lives. We are united, and that is all that matters. Fans reacted immediately, some supportive, others skeptical, but the message was clear. Kirk and Rasheeda were reclaiming their story, one post at a time. Even K. Michelle, seeing the united front, pulled back. She issued her own statement, clarifying that she had never leaked any content and urging fans to respect boundaries. The internet buzzed, opinions mixed, but slowly the frenzy began to subside. Kirk and Rasheeda, exhausted but resolute, watched the notifications together, sipping late-night coffee in silence. "We survived this wave," Kirk said finally. Rasheeda glanced at him, a small, tired smile forming. "Yeah, but we can't let the next one catch us off guard." Outside, the city lights flickered against the damp streets. Inside, the family finally felt a moment of peace. The leaks, the drama, the chaos, they had faced it together. Yet beneath that fragile calm, both knew the storm wasn't over. Someone was still out there, watching, waiting, ready to strike with the next leak. And Kirk and Rasheeda, stronger for their battle, prepared themselves for the inevitable next wave of chaos. The following morning, the calm was shattered again. Kirk received an anonymous text. "You think that was the last leak? Think again." The message was chilling. No signature, no clue. He showed Rasheeda, who immediately stiffened. "They're still out there," she whispered, her hand gripping his. Kirk's jaw tightened. "We handle it before it escalates. No more surprises. No more playing defense." She nodded, determination replacing exhaustion. "We fight smart this time." The next hours were a blur of strategy meetings, calls with lawyers, and coordination with their publicists. Every social media account was monitored, every incoming tip investigated. Kyrie, Frost, and the other kids were kept away from screens, schools informed to ignore paparazzi inquiries. Rasheeda was relentless, her focus Kirk followed her lead, realizing for the first time that unity wasn't just words, it was action, meticulous and unyielding. Meanwhile, rumors spread faster than ever. Blogs posted speculation about hidden relationships, secret contracts, and potential betrayals within their inner circle. One headline screamed, "Is this the end of the Frost household?" Another claimed K. Michelle's revenge plot unfolds. Fans debated heatedly in comment sections, memes exploded, and threads went viral. But Kirk and Rasheeda stayed grounded, refusing to engage publicly beyond the carefully crafted joint statements. By late afternoon, a new development arrived. A video surfaced online, grainy, shaky footage showing someone inside their house, apparently recording from the hallway. The caption, "Inside look at the Frost chaos, who's hiding the truth?" Rasheeda's stomach dropped. Kirk took one look and exhaled sharply. "We need to track this immediately," he said, urgency in his voice. They contacted Marlon, the tech specialist, who confirmed that the footage came from a device linked to someone with insider access. Their attention immediately turned to production staff, friends, and even distant acquaintances. Rasheeda was furious. "Someone is betraying us from the inside," she said. "Someone we trusted." Kirk ran a hand over his face. "We root them out. No exceptions. Anyone leaking, anyone helping, they're done. We protect the family first." Together, they began reconstructing every recent interaction, noting suspicious behaviors, late-night messages, and access points to the house. The tension escalated when Rasheeda received a call from K. Michelle herself. "Rasheeda, you need to calm down," she said sharply. "I don't want to be part of this, but someone's using me to stir things up. We need to stop it before it goes too far." Rasheeda's eyes narrowed. "And you're sure you're clean?" K. Michelle's voice was firm. "Completely. I didn't leak anything." Rasheeda exhaled, still wary. "Good. Because if we catch you lying..." K. Michelle interrupted. "I'm not lying. I'm done being the villain." The line went dead. Hours later, Kirk and Rasheeda met with Marlon and the small trusted team. Maps of social media timelines, IP addresses, and video metadata were spread across the dining table. "We traced the leaks," Marlon said. "They're coming from someone who has keys to your schedules, your social appearances, your house." Rasheeda leaned over, eyes scanning every note. "So it's insider. Someone close." Kirk nodded grimly. "And whoever it is, they know we're onto them now." As night fell, Rasheeda checked on the kids, ensuring their rooms were secure. Kirk followed behind, worried eyes scanning every corner. "We can't let this affect them," he whispered. She nodded. "They're innocent in this. We shield them no matter what." Together, they made rounds through the house, checking locks, cameras, and alarms. For the first time in days, they felt some semblance of control, though the tension remained thick in the air. Later, as they finally sat down, exhausted, Kirk's phone buzzed. Another anonymous message. They're watching. The next move will be unforgettable. He showed Rasheeda, whose eyes flashed with both fear and determination. Then we make our move first, she said quietly, voice steady. We expose them before they expose us. Kirk nodded. No more waiting. We take control now. Outside, the city was quiet under a blanket of fog and rain, but inside the Frost household, war had been declared. No longer just about leaked videos or messages. It had evolved into a battle of strategy, trust, and survival. Rasheeda and Kirk, united in purpose, prepared to face the next wave. This time, there would be no mistakes, no impulsive reactions. They would hunt the leaker, protect their family, and finally reclaim the narrative from whoever dared to manipulate their lives. The storm outside mirrored the storm within, but for the first time, Rasheeda and Kirk felt ready to fight back. So now, after everything you've just seen, the leaks, the confrontations, the betrayal, the chaos, it's your turn to be part of the conversation. This story isn't just about Kirk and Rasheeda. It's about all of us who watch, who feel, who get caught up in the drama. The suspense, the twists that leave us questioning what's real and what's staged. And here's the truth. The story isn't over. The leaks, the secrets, the emotions, they're still unfolding, and we're all waiting to see what happens next. Look at what we've witnessed. A family exposed, rumors swirling, trust shattered, and yet, against all odds, they're fighting back. Rasheeda and Kirk are showing us what it means to stand together when the world is against you. When every whisper, every rumor, every camera flash feels like a strike. And if you've ever felt powerless watching someone else's life unravel, if you've ever felt the rush of seeing secrets revealed and emotions laid bare, then you know why this matters. Fans are shocked, emotions ran high, and the family was left divided, but they're not broken. This is where you come in. We want to hear your thoughts, your theories, your opinions. Do you think Kirk was justified in exposing those messages? Was Rasheeda right to stand her ground? Or is there a part of you that believes Michelle has more to the story than she's letting on? Comment below with your perspective. Your voice matters here. Your take on the drama shapes the discussion. Share every theory, every guess, every prediction, because in stories like these, the audience becomes part of the narrative. And don't stop there. If you've been captivated, if your heart has raced along with every confrontation, if you've been glued to every screen, hit that like button. Show that you're invested in seeing the truth, in watching this story unfold in real time. Your likes, your shares, your engagement help others find the video, join the debate, and keep the energy alive. It's more than just entertainment, it's a movement. A collective fascination with the raw, unfiltered side of fame, relationships, and family in the spotlight. Subscribe now, because you won't want to miss what comes next. The internet never sleeps, and neither do the leaks, the revelations, or the twists. By subscribing, you'll be first to see the next chapter, the next shockwave, the next moment that will have fans talking for days. Imagine waking up tomorrow to a brand new video, a brand new leak, a brand new confrontation, and knowing that you're already part of the inner circle, ready to analyze, debate, and react. This isn't just following a story, it's living it with every comment, every share, every watch. We also want to hear from you about the kids. Because let's be honest, the stakes go far beyond the adults. Frost and the rest of the children have been dragged into chaos they didn't ask for. Do you think Kirk and Rasheeda are doing enough to protect them? What would you do in their position? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, because every opinion adds a layer to the story. Every voice counts, and your perspective could even spark discussion among other viewers, deepening the engagement and keeping the narrative alive. And remember, the drama isn't confined to social media or gossip sites. It's in every heated conversation, every late-night discussion among friends, every debate that happens while watching the clips over and over. By liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing, you become part of this cultural moment. You help shape how this story is told, how it's remembered, and how it unfolds in the next explosive chapter. Fans are shocked, emotions ran high, and the family was left divided but together. With your engagement, we can follow the full story as it develops, as secrets are uncovered, as betrayals are revealed, and as the truth comes to light in ways nobody expects. So take a moment. Think about what you've just seen. Think about the arguments, the confrontations, the moments where Rasheeda's composure shone through, where Kirk's vulnerability was exposed, where Michelle's intensity left everyone questioning motives. Comment below with your honest take. Share this video with friends who are obsessed with reality TV drama. with family members who love to debate the wildest scenarios, with anyone who thrives on chaos and intrigue. Your engagement fuels the story, drives the conversation, and keeps the energy alive. Finally, remember this: the story is far from over. What you've seen is just the beginning, the tip of the iceberg. Leaks can continue, emotions can explode, alliances can shift, and secrets can resurface at any moment. By subscribing and staying connected, you ensure you're not left in the dark when the next shockwave hits. Don't just watch the story unfold, live it, debate it, influence it. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, because Kirk and Rasheeda's battle for truth, privacy, and family unity isn't finished, and neither is the conversation surrounding it. The next chapter is coming, and you won't want to miss a single second. So go ahead, hit that like button, leave a comment, share your theories, and subscribe, because in a world where leaks, betrayal, and drama collide, your voice matters. Stay tuned, stay engaged, and stay part of the story, because Kirk and Rasheeda aren't done fighting, and neither are we. The chaos continues, the leaks continue, and the internet will be watching every move. Are you ready to see what happens next? Be part of it, be loud, be heard, and most importantly, be here when the next revelation drops, because it's coming, and it's going to be unforgettable.